Yo, check it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. The Fed has done it. Fed rate cuts. We're going to talk about what this means for the meme stocks, what it means for the overall economy, and what it means for you as a trader and investor. We're going to look at all this and more, technical data, and everything you need to know. Let's go ahead and hop into charts, facts, data. Let's go. All right, what is up? The Fed has done it. 50 basis point rate cut. What does this mean for the meme stock market, and the overall economy? We're going to talk about all that and more in this video and give you some technical data as well. This video is not financial advice, should not be taken as such. Let's go ahead and hop right in for some technical data for AMC and GME. You can see right now, shares available to borrow sitting at 400,000 for AMC, shares available to borrow at 3.8 available for GameStop. Now, we do want to see less shares available to borrow because that means less bearish pressure. AMC, unfortunately, right now has less shares available to borrow, and GameStop has a bit more. We want to see less shares available to borrow for both of the meme stocks. Now, you can see right now, cost to borrow sitting at 1.31%. That is cost to borrow for AMC. Cost to borrow for GME is sitting at 0.43%. The reason why their cost to borrow is so low, and the reason why they have more shares on GME, is because of the recent dilution. And they also announced new dilution that is potentially coming up. So this is why cost to borrow remains low. We want to see cost to borrow spike up. When you do see spikes in cost to borrow, that normally indicates a price movement in the meme stocks. Now, let's go ahead and show you some of the technical data here for GME, what we're expecting based off the charts, facts, and data, and how these rate cuts are expected to affect the meme stocks and the stock market and your overall economy. So right now, what I'm thinking for GME, what we'll see in the morning is a little bit of excitement moving to the upside, up towards that $20 level, and then getting a rejection back to the downside, ultimately having to retest 1950 as support. So you'll see excitement in the pre-market movement, then pull back when the market opens, having to retest that 1950 support. So don't be surprised when you see another retest of 1950 tomorrow for GameStop stock. Now, after we retest 1950, I'm expecting to use that as a bottom and start pushing to the upside. I think GameStop is building a floor to get above that $20 level. If we go ahead and look at what's going on here in the charts, they keep pushing it down into these buy orders, getting this liquidity down here, and ironically, buying GameStop for the low. You can see that last time GameStop went down and dipped down, RSI got to that oversold territory here on that 4-hour time frame. This is where smart people will be buying, and ironically enough, we do have those buy orders down here marked in green, and GameStop gets pushed down in these buy orders, and it's going to get a pop off of this, and I believe that's what we're doing. We're building a floor around $19.50, $19 to build a base. That way we can break above $20 and start moving back to the upside, because there is a gap fill here on the daily time frame. If you look at what's happening, there's a gap fill in the daily time frame, and I believe that aka smart money or a long operator, retail, somebody with a decent amount of money, a lot of money, is buying the dips on the meme stocks, in my personal opinion, and accumulating these stocks at the low prices right now, because these stocks are going to go up, especially as the rates continue to get cut. I believe that the economic projections are showing that the market is actually pricing in another 50 basis point rate cut already. So we're already looking at that forward data, and it looks like the Fed is saying that they're going to cut rates a lot more rapidly, because it's very clear that they're behind the ball and they should have cut rates sooner, and I'll get to that here in the SPY section. But I do believe we're going into a recession. I believe that the meme stock squeeze will correlate with the recession, and I talked about this numerous times. But back into the technicals, you can see that there's this gap fill to the upside here for GME, and I believe that gap is going to get filled. Okay, so I believe that there's a long operator buying down here, accumulating, and you're going to see a move back to the upside. Now, there is this gap down here to be worried about at about $17.50. If we lost $19.50 and $19, I would expect to move down to that level. So do be aware of that. I don't think we're going to see a move down there just yet. I think we're actually building a base and going to push up, but I do want to keep that in the back of your mind as a possible scenario. If you did see a pullback, expect that $17.50 gap fill and then a move back to the upside. What I'm thinking is ultimately going to happen, though, is we're building that $20 floor, and we're going to move up and break $20. The levels that we need to see held is $19.50, and that's going to be the big thing tomorrow. Do we hold $19.50? I think we're going to see a bounce off for $19.50 in my personal opinion, and start moving up towards $20.44. I think that we will probably break $20.40 44 this week by the end of the week, and I don't want to see any more movement to the downside for GME. Again, if we lost $19.50, you would see a decent move to the downside, so do be aware of that. Now, this is what I'm looking at for GME. Again, I think we're going to overall see a recovery. I did want to be aware of a possible move to the downside, but you can see how quickly RSI got oversold. I think that people are buying. There's also all of these buy orders down here. I don't think we're going to break through this floor. You can see there's actually buy orders here at $18 all the way down to about $17.70. So there's multiple layers of buy orders. It looks like that they are trying to push the stock down, but it looks like they're accumulating. So if we did see a move down, I would expect to pop up. But overall, I think GME would be recovering back to the upside to fill this massive gap on the daily time frame, regardless of either if it moved down or just built a floor and pushed to the upside. Again, the big thing is going to be using 1950 as support tomorrow, and that's what we're going to watch for GME. Now, I'm going to go into what I expect for the meme stocks based off of the rate cuts, and then I'm going to move into AMC. So I keep talking about, and I talked about this extensively in the live stream. You can check out the live stream if you want, but I keep talking about how the recession is going to correlate with the AMC and GME squeeze. I believe that in my personal opinion. Now, you can see here's the Volkswagen chart. And there's a lot of similarities to some of the things like the dot-com bubble of what we're seeing now. Also, there's a lot of similarities to what you're seeing with 2008 to what we're seeing now. I think we're going into a decent sized recession. And again, this is not fear or doom and gloom, because you can make money off a recession. You can make money in a bear market, because when the stocks come down, when housing prices come down, when cars come down, you can make a bag on the way down, something like SQQQ, because you predicted that it's going to fall back, the market's going to fall back. Or you can stack cash and then buy things for the low, and then they increase in price and then sell them. And again, these boom bust cycles are how people continue to recycle their money. If you know the cycles, you can get the bag. Now, I think we're going to see something similar to Volkswagen. Okay, so Volkswagen started to push up as the overall economy and market started to pull back. So right here's the Volkswagen chart. You can see October was when Volkswagen squeezed. Again, you had this big move to the downside. So I want people to be aware of this. Okay, it doesn't matter what price the meme stocks are at. Okay, keep this in your mind. Okay, what we are looking for on a day-to-day basis is clues to see when this thing's going to pop off, but it doesn't matter what price it's at to pop off. You can see that Volkswagen actually rode up, then dumped down, then squeezed. So imagine how many apes and how many holders would get played by panic selling if something like this would happen. So again, not financial advice, but if you did see it dump to the downside, do not sell your shares, especially if it's while the market is capitulating. Okay, what I'm predicting that we're going to see is we're going to see SPY start to pull back. Okay, and I'll get to this more in the SPY section, but I believe that we're going to see SPY start to pull back, and that the AMC and GME squeeze will correlate with that pullback on SPY. If you look at the chart on 2008 SPY chart, you can see that you had a movement to the downside on the overall market as Volkswagen started to trend up. Then you had max capitulation here in October. You have this big move to the downside. That's when Volkswagen absolutely started to explode after that movement to the downside. And that's when the market had max capitulation. You can see that October is when the market had max capitulation in 2008. This is 2008 SPY chart, and that's when Volkswagen absolutely blew up. And I believe we're going to see something similar for AMC and GME. As long as the apes keep holding AMC and GameStop, I believe we will see this squeeze, in my personal opinion. Now, some people got discouraged. They're like, man, this is taking forever. But if this thing really does make a crazy move, does it really matter how long it took? If this thing gives you a paycheck in the middle of a recession, does it matter how long it took? Imagine a middle of a recession and you get a paycheck, a big payout. Imagine what you could do with that. That could literally change your life. This is not to hype you up or give you false hope. This is just telling you the facts of the matter. If this did occur the way that I'm thinking it could occur, if we see a squeeze in the middle of a recession, because that's what I think is going to be happening. I think the market is going to start topping out, in my personal opinion. I think SPY is going to start topping out. I think we're at a top. We're going to start pulling back, and that's what you're going to see when the squeeze starts. Once we start to see max capitulation, you might see AMC and GME move down with it, but then you're going to see a big rip to the upside as margin calls start to come in, as the stocks that they use for collateral for AMC short positions start to lose value. And as liquidity dries up, that's when a short squeeze can occur. And we've seen that in history with Volkswagen, with one of the biggest short squeezes that we have ever seen. Now, I'm going to move into AMC and what I expect for AMC for tomorrow. Basically, you guys got the rundown for both AMC and GME on why I expect a recession to correlate with the squeeze and what I'm expecting for the meme stocks based off of these rate cuts. But I believe that these rate cuts are the countdown into recession. I believe that we are going into a recession. The Fed is behind the ball on everything. They should have been cut rates. And I believe that there is a clear indication that we're moving into recession. And I've showed you multiple charts before that normally when the Fed starts to cut rates, that's when the recessions start to come in. So let's go ahead and move into AMC, what we expect for tomorrow. And that's my breakdown on what the rate cuts have to do with AMC and GME. So right now, AMC, I'm expecting some excitement in the morning, moving up towards 482, coming back down to about 477. So I'm expecting that to get retested tomorrow, maybe even as low as 474. So don't be surprised if you do see that pullback and retest for AMC stock tomorrow. Now, what we want for AMC stock is to move back towards that 490 range. That's the critical level that we want to get back above for AMC. I believe that we could actually do this before the end of the week. I think that we're going to see the market start to trend down tomorrow and potentially AMC and GME start to trend up here in the end of the week. Now, it looks like they're setting up for a decent move to the upside or downside depending on which way this thing's going to break, but it looks like volatility is building for the meme stocks. You can see here on the bigger time frames, the Bollinger Bands starting to get tight, and here on the weekly time frame as well, the Bollinger Bands are starting to get tight. So it looks like it's getting ready to coil up for a move, and what AMC is doing right now is starting to build a floor, building a base just like GME that cannot be broken. We are holding 472, and that's the level that we've actually been holding for quite some time. We haven't really broke below that. If you go ahead and look at AMC stock, after this big movement to the upside, we've been using that 472, that's that yellow line here on your screen, as support. We go under it briefly sometimes, but we pop back to the upside, and we are now basically getting pushed against that level that we won't break down, and it looks like we'll get a pop to the upside. If you look at what's going here on TradingView as well, I talked about this in my last couple of videos for AMC, and very similar to GME, AMC keeps getting pushed down into these buy orders. You look at those green blocks right there, those are all buy orders for AMC, and if AMC gets this liquidity, what it's going to end up doing is getting a nice pop to the upside. There's a lot of buy orders here at like 466 down to 440, right underneath that 470 level. So again, this is where smart buyers would be buying to try to get AMC for the low, to buy low and sell high. I believe that this is an accumulation range for AMC, an accumulation range for GME. I believe that there is large money, either institutions, hedge funds, market makers, groups of retail, someone with large money, a long operator is buying the dips and accumulating AMC in this accumulation range, and I think we're going to see a movement to the upside. I've already talked about it on numerous times, why I believe this accumulation range is bullish, with everything from the fact of green MACD, green weekly buy signal, green monthly MACD, golden cross on the daily time frame using the 200 moving average as support, all the things that I broke down on the live stream in great detail, the things that told me that Bitcoin was going to make a bull run. These are all things happening to AMC right now, and that's why I believe that this accumulation range is bullish and is going to break to the upside. I think that we're going to retest this falling wedge and then get a pop to the upside, possibly here at the end of this week or next week, in my personal opinion. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC. Again, I know it's like doom and gloom, like, oh man, this is taking forever, but we could literally have a black swan event. We have things going crazy with WW3. We could have any type of event that could literally send the market down quickly. And if the Fed were to say, like, for example, the recession was coming, that's what they would have had happen today. So they can't really say, they had to lie, and I'll talk about this more in the SPY section, but they had to basically lie and say the economy was fine. They have to lie until they can't, until the data shows that they can't, because they will cause the recession that they're trying to avoid. But the price action for SPY could pull back at any moment. So it's not really a time limit thing. It's not really what price is AMC or GME at. This thing could take off from any price. We've seen that with Volkswagen as it dropped down before moving up. And it could take off at any time because a black swan event could happen and things could change like that. changing the market environment. So that's what I'm looking at for AMC. Let's go ahead and show you guys what's going on for SPY and what I expect for SPY and the overall market. Now, again, the Fed basically had to say, and I covered the Fed meeting today, the Fed basically had to say that the economy is fine. They have to lie until they can't, because they will cause the recession that they're trying to avoid. Now, I think SPY is about to pull back, in my personal opinion. I think that's going to start happening from between tomorrow and the rest of the week. So you can see that SPY is starting to have what's called a bearish divergence. So you can see RSI clearly trending down while price is clearly trending up. That is a sign called bearish divergence. Now, I talked about this again on the live stream extensively and showed you an example here on the daily time frame. What you're looking for with bearish divergence is price to start flatten out, and then it will correct. You can see RSI clearly trending down here on the daily time frame, price clearly trending up. I use this example a lot because it's very, very clear. Then you can see price flattens out and then it corrects to the downside. But you can see that it kind of hit a high around these levels here. That's the same thing that you'll probably see here on this time frame, just a smaller time frame. So you can see here on the 2-hour time frame, we had this pop to the upside here. We might even get one more pop to the upside, but I think SPY is getting ready to roll over. You can see that here on the 4-hour MACD that we're actually getting red 4-hour MACD, and we're below the blue medium line with Bollinger Bands extremely tight. I believe that SPY is about to make a drop to the downside, in my personal opinion, and SQQQ is about to make a pop to the upside. We actually have a play in the Discord depending on this move, and I think this move can play out between the rest of this week and next week, but I believe that we're actually going to see a big drop to the downside on SPY. So if you see SPY start to dump, do not be surprised if SPY loses this level, and that's what you're going to be looking for confirmation to see if SPY is actually going to dump. You want to make sure you lose this level first, okay? Do not play around with SPY because it can rip your face off. But basically, it's very, very clear what's happening right here. In my personal opinion, I think we're about to lose the levels of 560.87, and if you lose that level, you're going to see a move to the downside. You guys can see that we're kind of forming like this double top and or head and shoulders. Right here's a shoulder, right here would be another shoulder and a head. More of a double top if you look top 1, top 2, and if we break below that 560.87, you're going to see a big move to the downside. Red MACD with Bollinger Bands very, very tight underneath the blue medium line. If we're not able to get back above that, you're going to see a big move down. Also, bearish divergence on the hourly and 2-hour time frame is telling me we're going to see a move down. I predicted that if we get a 50 basis point rate cut, that you would see a pop to the upside and then a pull back. It looks like that's exactly what is about to play out, and I do have to give myself a pat on the back to be able to call out the price action if we got a certain call. I gave an example on the live stream, a 25, a 50, and a 75, what I think would happen. I said if 25, the market will dump. If 75, the market will dump. If 50, the market will pump and pull back. And that's exactly what we are seeing right now. Pop to the upside and potentially a pullback. Again, you want to be careful. You don't want to get shorting before things get crazy. You want to wait for that confirmation of 560.87, a loss at that level. But if we do see a loss of that level, you're going to see that pullback that we were expecting for. So I do want to give myself a pat on the back on that, and go ahead and lock in and subscribe for very, very accurate technical analysis and covering the major news that you need to know as a trader and investor, like the rate cuts, and giving you information and insight on that. But this is what I'm looking at for SPY. I basically think we're going into a recession. I think that that's a countdown for that because the Fed is cutting rates. I believe that they're behind the ball on everything. I think that they should have been cut rates. I think that's why they're scrambling to cut right now, and they're even talking about another 50 basis point rate cut. I believe that it's actually confirming that. And I showed you guys this with all types of data, like the unemployment going up, and these are all the things that they even talked about on the Fed press conference. You heard them talking about, why do you think unemployment's not going to keep upticking? Well, it is. That's what history's shown us. Once unemployment starts ticking up, it's an inertia move. It's hard to stop. It's going to keep ticking up. Once the Fed cuts rates, that's when the recessions normally start. Okay, so this is not rocket science in my personal opinion. I believe that they have to lie until they can't. I believe that we're going into a recession. You're going to see the market start to pull back, and then the AMC and GME squeeze could potentially correlate with that recession. Now let's go ahead and move into BTC and show you what's going on for BTC. I think BTC is going to be a hedge against this potential recession. I think that BTC will actually perform well in a recession, believe it or not, similar to what gold does in my personal opinion. I believe that Bitcoin is actually showing us the technicals to line up with that move. I told you if we got rate cuts, you would see Bitcoin start to move to the upside, and that's exactly what we've seen. Bitcoin moving up into this $60,000 to $61,000 range. If Bitcoin can get back above $61,500, it's going to go into a bullish mode, pushing up towards 65K, and Bitcoin is in an overall accumulation range called a bull flag. This is a bull flag here on the macro if you look at what's going on for BTC, and I believe that BTC is in an accumulation range about to move up, and I showed you facts with that, things like the fear and greed. Again, you want to buy the fear and sell the greed. Right now, crypto fear and greed is in fear. I also showed you the Bitcoin rainbow chart, and somebody made fun of me for calling it that, but that's literally what it's called. So the Bitcoin rainbow chart, you guys can see right here. I'll try to find it here on the screen. But the Bitcoin rainbow chart basically shows you places you can buy and sell BTC on the macro. You can see if you would have bought down here in the purple and sold in the red, you would have made a decent amount of money because you would have been buying the lows and selling the highs. Well, you can see that we're in the purple and blue area. Those are the areas that you want to be buying. You can see if you'd have bought there historically, you'd have been making money. Last blue and purple area was back here, and we are still basically in that blue and purple area, showing that Bitcoin is ultimately undervalued in the grand scheme of things. I think that we're actually in a bear market for BTC, and BTC is in an accumulation range about to make a move to the upside. I believe that's why we have this overall bull flag. I believe that's why we have fear in the market, and that's what even the rainbow chart is showing us. So I think that BTC is actually undervalued, building a bullish base, a floor, and about to go to the move to the upside, similar to what you see here with this white dotted line prediction. I think it's in an accumulation range and going to move up as rates get cut. Risk assets are going to do better. Bitcoin's considered a risk asset. As we move into the recession, people are going to be looking for a safe haven. BTC is a safe haven asset in my personal opinion. I believe that it's going to continue to move up and provide continuous opportunities for anybody that buys and hold BTC, as BTC has literally just continued to go up throughout its existence. And I think that once Bitcoin does make this overall move to the upside, that's when altcoin season will start. I believe that we didn't see an altcoin season because Bitcoin never got into those bubble territories. If you go ahead and look at the rainbow chart, it talks about those bubble territories, and that's when we see those altcoin seasons. You can see that last time we got into those bubble territories was the last BTC top, the last BTC bull run that we're currently using as support. That's when we got those last bubble territories, and that's why we haven't seen it, because we're not into those bubble territories. You can remember that we had an altcoin season here and here, and we're not into those bubble territories. We pulled back, and we are now using the previous highs as support, and I think that we're going to move to the upside. And you can see that here on BTC. You can see that we used the last bear market or bull market tops as the bear market bottom. So you can see right here, this bull market top here. Then we had another bull market. That was the bear market bottom here. You can see this bull market top here. We had a rally to the upside, and now we're having another bear market, but we're using that previous top as support. So I think we're going to move up and continue that cycle, in my personal opinion, and BTC will actually continue producing gains because the dollar is going to continue devaluing, and you're going to see a fixed cap of 21 million coins, and that is continually making BTC deflationary. So this is the video for you guys, daily outlook and prediction. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like, press subscribe for more content like this. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. If you want to support in a different way, you can check out the merch store linked in the comment section and description, or you can send a super chat during the live streams. Truly appreciate you all for watching to the end. If you want to support for free, just leave that like and comment or share the video. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace. All right, y'all, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. Press subscribe for more content like this. Remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more DataZero updates. Discord right now is $75 for a lifetime invite. Hit me up on my email, DataZeroOfficial5, to get invited in that Discord. Once you make payment, I'll send you the link. It's easy as that to get in. I post exclusive news and technicals there, buy and sell signals. If you're interested in that, go ahead and hit me up. And I appreciate each and every one of you that watched the end of this video. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace.